This is an explicit podcast where we try to keep the conversations as raw and authentic as possible with no intentions of hurting anyone. So if you're very woke, religious, or sensitive, we highly recommend you do not tune in. Guys, episode 34 of Let's Get It Podcast. We have Mark Odea on.
What's up?
How you doing, Mark?
Very good. Well, I had food poisoning, so I wasn't sure I was going to make it, but
You showed up, man. Thanks, dude.
I did. No worries.
I appreciate it. How long did it last, dude?
2 days. Yeah.
Oh, that's very fast.
Yeah. Let's not talk about it. It wasn't fun.
Okay. No, we're not talking about that. So how long you been in Malaysia, Mark?
I've been in Malaysia about 9 years already.
Time flies, eh? I know briefly about your background. You used to be in a boy band, right? So how did that all come about? Like, let's say you were probably just past high school then, you know? Have you always wanted to be in a boy band?
No. So I studied performing arts in
Sure.
the UK, and I always wanted to do like singing, dancing, acting. And I graduated, and I had like an agent, and I did a few shows in London, like a few like West End shows, which was really fun. And at that time, boy bands were like a thing. So
Yeah.
we had like One Direction. We
2000, this was during 2000.
had like, I can't remember. It was about 9-8 years ago. But we had like One Direction. We had like The Wanted.
Yep.
And there was an opportunity to come to Malaysia to start like a boy band, like based in Malaysia. They said we were going to like be around Southeast Asia. And I was like, oh yeah, cool. You know, boy band. This is going to be fun.
Who was they? Like a company that was organizing or managing the
Yeah,
the
people,
artists?
they put us together in London. And we were called the London Boys. Worst name ever.
Sure.
And yeah, it didn't really go very well. We were doing shows in like Sunway Pyramid and stuff. Like they had plans for us to, you know, be a bigger boy group, but within 2 months I knew this
is this very short?
No, we did it for like 7 months. And then after 2 months, we all realized, yeah, this ain't going anywhere.
All right. So
yeah.
the company managing you guys, are they based in London?
They put together in London, basically, yeah. And then we came to Malaysia. So,
Did they have other successful artists like they put together?
No.
Something like a new startup.
No, it was like a new thing, basically.
Let me ask you something, because when I think about what you're referring to, right? They get a group of talented young kids who are interested in doing music. It's similar to, like, let's say Blackpink, right? That's the concept. Has that always been the case for, like, let's say the older boy bands like Backstreet Boys or Westlife?
Oh no, so K-pop is completely different. So K-pop, they train them since they're like 10 years old. They're not allowed to leave the house. They have to, like, that's why they're so good. Like, you
Fucking good, dude.
You compare BTS to
Yeah.
One Direction. I mean, no offense if any of your listeners, like, I think One Direction are good, but you compare them to BTS. BTS are on like a different level. They can dance, sing, because every day they're dancing, training. The management is so strict. So completely different to the Western versus the K-pop stuff. Yeah.
What is similar? What is the most similar, let's say, a Western boy band or girl group, you know, that you can compare to Blackpink? Talent-wise, if you can think of.
Talent-wise, maybe I'd say the older boy bands, because those ones could kind of dance, and like
Westlife?
New Kids on the Block. Westlife couldn't really dance. I love Westlife, by the way. But you know, like Backstreet Boys, I think they could kind of dance a bit. But you compare their dancing to, like, you know, like Big Bang or you know, BTS. It's a different level, isn't it?
It's very intense, you know, how they move. But back, like, let's say Westlife, Backstreet Boys, their origin story were, I would assume, because I have no fucking clue, I would assume they're a couple of friends. They got together and they're really interested in music. It's not as if they were trained since they were young.
Westlife, I think, were put together by like a talent scout. So they all had to audition. So that's what it is in boy bands, just like my boy band. You audition, and then they select a few people, and then they see who looks good together, and then they'll put them in the band. So yeah, but I think K-pop and Western bands I think Western boy bands, they can tell the managers, no, I don't want to do this. But in K-pop, the labels, you Oh yeah, like they're the bosses.
Almost similar to living in an Asian household as compared to a Western household, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, you wouldn't dare to talk back to your parents. At least I never did. And if I ever did, just get slapped. This is common knowledge right now. White kids, they tend to rebel a little bit more. Maybe you can relate. What about yourself?
Agree and disagree. Okay, so I love the Asian culture that elderly are respected. I think Westerners also respect the elderly.
Yes.
But I feel like in Western world, we're allowed to have more of an opinion if we feel strongly about something. So for example, if your grandma said, you shouldn't be doing this because, back in my day, it was not right, or you shouldn't, I would, in Western culture, I would allow to say, Grandma, I respect you, but I think you're wrong. I'm going to do this. Whereas in Asian culture, I think it's more like, no, you listen to me. I'm right. I'm elder. So I think we respect the elderly, but I think it's more of we're allowed to kind of fight back more, which I kind of like.
It's so different. Okay, just an example. Myself, I was teaching in childcare for early childhood education, right? I have a diploma in that. I did that so I had to do a placement in the childcare center. So I'm just referring to the early childhood education system in Australia, a Western country. Oh, it's not exactly Western.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So let's just say their academic syllables, right? It's so different as compared to Asians. Okay, when I was in kindergarten, okay, as young as kindergarten, you would definitely cover all the basic alphabets, numbers, learn how to read and write, and also some basic grammar stuff. When I was teaching in Melbourne, there was zero grammar education. What they taught the kids in kindergarten was they encouraged them a lot to play and explore what build confidence, whatever they're good at, whatever they want to pursue, give them the confidence. You don't suggest what they should do. I've actually had one of my mentors, right, tell me, because if I were to tell a kid, okay, why don't you come and play with this? And then she would tell me, try not to tell the kid what he should
Let
play
them
with.
decide. Yeah,
It's really different.
I agree completely. And I say this a lot, and a lot of people, because I'm a very opinionated person.
Let's hear it.
And a lot of, because I give some talks at universities, and sometimes like the lecturers will be like, but I'll tell the kids, I'll say, your parents aren't always right. Because they're not you. Just because your dad or your mum wanted to be an accountant or she wanted to be a lawyer doesn't mean you have to be, And it's also those things you say. Like, for example, if you want to do like a marketing job or PR job, you're going to get that job more likely if you're a people's person, if you've got life skills, if you know how to get out of situations, which is learned not from reading books 100 times a week. You need to go out. You need to, completely. I completely agree.
This is something that has been said. Okay, we're not the first ones to say it, or it's not something new in this generation. People have been saying this for years and years, which is you don't need an academic certificate to get from point A to point B, right? People have known that for a long time. Another reason why it's the road less traveled is because it's not easy. A lot of people will rather stick with a secured paycheck. And I think one of the bigger reasons why it's, let's say, Malaysia, right, as compared to London. If you want to pursue something that you're interested in, which is, let's say, in the arts scene, it's much tougher, first of all, because of the risk.
Factor,
I know talent exists because you know it very well yourself. Talent does exist, a lot, actually. We're not short of that. Maybe the funding's behind it. It's harder, just in general.
It's a shame because there's so many talented musicians, people who, like artists, and I've had conversations before, and they've said they reach out to me and they say, oh, my mum wants me to study this, but I don't want to. I want to be a musician. And I always tell them, I get it. In this culture, sometimes you have to listen to your parents, but you can also prove them wrong. So my advice would be, listen to what if they're saying you have to, do this job, okay, cool. On the side, work really hard, become the best musician, get your stuff out there, prove them wrong, and then if you've got gigs coming in and you can prove to them that you can actually make a living, then they'll be silenced. You know
They
what I mean?
will.
Yeah.
So there's always this saying, older people are wiser,
No, I
right? Or
disagree.
older people are smarter. I think that saying made more sense 30 years ago, because let's say 30 years ago, the only form of information transfer that we have been accustomed to for, let's say, a century is scriptures, books. Now it's technology through the internet. So you can't necessarily say that an older person is wiser, because look at the rate at how the younger people are absorbing information as compared to older generation.
Another example, some companies in Malaysia, I'm
Yeah.
not going to name any, but their CEOs are in their 60s, 70s, and they're making the decisions. Whereas there's some other companies in Malaysia who I've worked with who have really young CEOs who have fresh ideas.
Yeah.
They understand the current trends and everything. Those companies are thriving because they get it sometimes. I'm not saying older people don't get it, but I feel like
Change isn't easy.
yeah, they it's just like yeah, respect your elders, but at the same time, if you've got an opinion that you think is right and you're out there all the time and somebody's telling you to do something and they're not out there and they're living in the past, you have every right to say, I'm sorry, mum, but I feel strongly about this. I feel like I've got enough information. I'm going to pursue this and I'm going to prove you wrong.
Yeah, definitely. So, okay, let me ask you this. Before coming to Malaysia, what did you think of Malaysia?
Honestly, I didn't know much about it. I'm not going to lie and say I had I was excited because Malaysia it's considered an exotic country. So it's like, oh, Malaysia. Whereas, you know, compared to like China and, you know, other countries that are well known, or it's like, oh, Malaysia. Like, I don't know much about this place. I Googled it. It looked, it looked beautiful. I mean, I knew Malaysia existed, but I had to like really Google and find out more things about it. It looked beautiful. The beaches looked great. So I was sold straight away.
But okay, what were the two things that came to mind when you heard the country Malaysia? Or one thing, even if there's even two.
One thing that came to mind was exotic. It sounds like, oh, Malaysia. I don't know, like
The Twin Towers, or did you think about
I knew
that?
about the Twin Towers, but I've not really been a big person. Like even like the Big Ben, I don't really care. Like, I mean, I don't like tourist attractions. I mean, the KL Towers are nice, but but yeah, I thought more about, oh, this is really far away from the UK. This is going to be a completely different new world. This is going to be exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you packed your bags. Okay, you got this great opportunity. Join a boy band. Come down
Great
here.
opportunity.
Yeah, come down here. Live your dreams, right?
Yeah.
Any idea what happened to the other members of the
Oh
group?
yeah, they didn't like Malaysia. So
You're the only one that remained here.
So what happened was I started a YouTube channel whilst I was in the boy band.
Oh, this is a long time ago.
Yeah. And the boy band basically finished, and ATV, which is like there's a show called the ATV Quickie.
Yeah, I remember.
So they liked some of my videos and they got in touch and they asked if I would be interested to be a host for one of their TV shows. And I was like, that sounds exciting. Sure, why not?
They take care of the white people in the industry over here. Because I remember I was looking at these casting ads, right? Casting agency ads. So they were looking for extras. The fee for an extra, let's say if you're a Malay or Chinese, is, for example, 100.
Yeah.
And if it's a white person, Caucasian, it's 500 or 800, you know?
Okay, the reason for that is because there's less in Malaysia. So there's a lot of models that are working here in Malaysia.
Yeah.
And they will up their rates. So that's why. So like, for me, for
Yes.
example, I'll get paid the same as a Malaysian because when I do the jobs. But for those things, for the extras, it's because there's a lot of, you know, Malay, Indian, Chinese, but maybe there's only a few Caucasians that are at a modeling agency that are available.
Sure. So you said you started a YouTube channel, but during that time, YouTube was literally just like getting started, right? It's been 9 years. You know, in case people who don't know, I'm sure everyone already knows, right? He's huge, over 1 million followers on all platforms combined, or Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Do you do all the editing yourself? That's what I was curious about.
When I first started, yes, because it was just for fun.
Takes a lot of time.
Yeah. So now I'll give my videos to some people to edit. If it's like YouTube, for example, if it's a skit, I love to edit myself because I feel like it's my idea and only I know how to edit. I mean, it's the same as, you know, if I've shot a video, I can't give it to someone to edit when it's in my mind of how I want it.
Definitely, because I always think about that especially. Let's say a skit, right? If you hired someone, you would literally have to, it's not really efficient because you would end up, if you want your ideas to be in that video, you would have to sit next to him and tell him, you know, you want it to be like this and that. And then what happens to the other videos that come up? I mean, the next, you know, videos, you would still have to do the same thing. So you might as well just do it yourself.
Exactly. Like your podcast, for example, you have 2 cameras. So if do you edit yourself?
Yeah, everything. Yeah.
So if you gave it to someone else, you might be like, oh, why is that shot not in, right? Because you're the one behind it. You know what you want, right? Yeah.
Just now you were asking me who was the worst guest, right? I don't think there was a worst guest, but I think there was a guest where we did the worst. Okay? Yeah. Were you here, Shen? Was it you? Oh no, it wasn't you. I had another buddy who was here with us. You know Talita, right? I saw you did a video with her.
Yeah.
So Talita was one of the guests.
She was the worst guest.
No, not at all. No,
I was
listen.
about to say, oh no.
No. Okay.
Hi, Talita. Okay.
Talita is a veteran in the scene. She is professional, so she did great. Okay?
Okay.
No complaints at all. What happened was when I started out the podcast, right? So I was looking at let's say Fashion Week podcast, and then I saw like, oh, Talita, I remember this girl. You know, she was a singer since back in high school. I know about her. Then me and Benjamin would be Benjamin, who is the co-host, who's in Brazil. He's gonna be back a couple of months later. So yeah, we would be saying stuff like, oh, okay, one day, you know, we're gonna have her on eventually. It's kind of embarrassing, but yeah, we were fanboying. Okay. Yeah, so we were fanboying and trying to hype up, just hyping it up till that day. And then suddenly, you know, I got in contact with Talita, and she said that she's gonna do the podcast with us the following week. That week leading up to it, every time I was chilling with Ben, we would end up watching her music videos and her songs and shit, and that's gonna fuck you up, man. Yeah. So the day came, you know, and then Ben came to the house, and I looked at Ben, and I knew that, oh fuck, we're nervous. He would make a joke. I could tell that he's just putting up a front.
Yeah.
He's nervous as shit. And then my other buddy, who is supposed to help us, you know, he came in the house. He's the dude that's doing what Shen is doing right now, just monitoring the AV. He came in and he's like, oh my god, we're fucked, bro. We're fucked, Brian. Oh my god. Yeah. So, and then the next second, Talita ring the doorbell. Then, oh shit, okay.
Who's going to answer it?
Yeah,
you answer it. No, you answer it.
Dude, I went straight into, okay, I just went into the zone. I just went and grabbed her, brought her up here, and then we didn't talk much before the filming.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a problem. Because sometimes I would hear from other friends that tell me like, oh, you can't make your guests wait, you know, you should come in and then straight away film. Don't wait too long, which is true. You can't wait too long, but having a little small talk here and there, that's
needs to get comfortable. Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that, you know.
Yeah. That's why I met you at Vault.
Yes,
we vibed already, so we don't need to do the small talk. It's all good.
Yeah, you're always at Vault, huh?
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
Okay, so we started the podcast. Okay, I'm talking, and then 30 minutes in, right, to the podcast. And then I start to realize like, oh, it feels like I'm doing this podcast solo. Then I'm looking at Ben, you know, and Ben is just...
So this is with Talita?
Yeah, so okay. Talita's sitting right here. I'm sitting here. Benjamin is sitting over there. So... and
he's drooling.
Bro, he was... I actually did a reel. Okay, I actually did a reel just...
Showing his face.
Highlighting how he fucked up, okay, and how he froze. Okay, he froze like a bitch.
Is that why he's in Brazil now?
Yes. No, he went over there, transferred over because of his company's work. Yeah. So, but that was a good lesson learned, because I realized after that first of all, it's not going to help anyone if you're going to be too hyped up. At the end of the day, it's just a guest and they want to do a podcast together. You know, you got to be chilled with this type of shit. And I told myself like, okay, better it happened then than later, because it's going to happen eventually. You ever had any starstruck moments?
Yes. So I interview a lot of WWE wrestlers for my job. Yeah, because I work for Astro, and
Wait, have they? I've never have WWE ever done a show in Malaysia?
they've done shows in Malaysia.
No way!
Before.
Oh shit! How have I not heard about
but
this?
I went to the US one time, and we were interviewing some wrestlers who were quite famous.
Wait, you're with Astro, is it?
Yeah.
Astro went over to
Went to the US.
Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
a sick gig,
To
dude.
WrestleMania.
Yeah. Holy shit. Okay. Yeah.
And
That's a sick gig, bro.
we interviewed some wrestlers who I was still like, oh man, they're cool, but they weren't like big names like Undertaker, Rock, Jericho.
Yeah, you.
So I interviewed them, and then I had my questions prepared, and then the PR person for the WrestleMania team, they come over to us and they were like, oh, by the way, do you guys want to speak to Hunter? So Hunter is Triple H. You know Triple H, right?
What, is that his real name?
Yeah, so nickname is Hunter, but Triple H.
Yeah,
like the Triple H.
Wait,
And
I never knew that was his. Wait, it's also a nickname. It's not his.
Yeah,
Okay.
nickname.
Okay. Yeah. Triple H.
we were just like, huh? And the guy was like, yeah, Triple H. You can talk to him for 5 minutes if you like.
Holy
And my
shit,
boss
bro!
was like, my boss obviously he wants the footage. He was like, yes.
Yes.
And I was like, yes, but also shit. Like, fuck. Like, it's Triple H. I'm gonna be and I've interviewed like Mark Wahlberg before. I've interviewed like football players before.
Yeah, but you were prepared. Triple H, you wasn't prepared.
I was prepared for these guys, but because I'm such a big wrestling fan, when I was younger, I used to love wrestling.
Yeah. Same. A lot of people.
I walked into that room, and this was 4 years of me being a TV host already, so I know how to handle myself. But I was like, oh shit, it's Triple H. Oh hi, like I was like, oh my god, and his hands so big, man. Like honestly, his hands are
They're
like
fucking huge, bro.
3 times mine, and he was like, nice to meet you, man. And I was like, hi, like, and I was like, shit. I had to think of questions on the spot. But luckily, the thing about wrestlers is they give the best interviews because they're trained in like mic skills because they're entertainers. So he was a natural, and it was.
Is there a
great.
video of this online or something?
Yeah, there is.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll probably go and check it out after
Yeah,
this.
man.
Yo, speaking of wrestling, right? People, the most common take on wrestlers.
Oh, it's fake.
It's fake.
Yeah.
But then when you actually look at their work ethic, which is fucking insane, 365 days a year, right? They're doing shows 365 days a year. So if you're doing shows 365 days a year, what you got to be training all
It's
the time.
entertainment. And I was dating this girl once, and I remember she was like, "Oh, why are you always watching this? Like, it's fake, you know." And I was like, "Duh, I know it's fake." And then she watches like all these stupid cartoons, like, and she's like 25 years old, and she's still watching cartoons. And I'm just like, this cartoon is not real. It's fake. I think it's like, what's your like? It's entertainment. It's storylines.
Okay,
You know.
it's like watching a drama. Okay, fine. You like let's say if someone likes to watch Emily in Paris or
Sex in the
Gossip
City.
Girl,
Yeah, exactly.
it's the same shit. Except this is you get to see more action. More. And also like when you find out about like the amount of pain they have to endure. Okay, let's talk about a really what do you call that? A really iconic moment. Mankind.
Oh yeah,
Mick
Mick Foley.
Yes,
Hell in the Cell. Yep.
From the top of the Hell in the Cell cage. Okay, who threw him off? I forgot. The Undertaker. Or what you call-
Undertaker choke slam. And
It's fucking insane. Like you can't fake that shit. I'm not sure how many foot tall is that cage. What 13? You can't fake that shit. People can literally die.
yeah, so I respect them. Like, yeah, it's fake, but they can do all these tricks. Like Rey Mysterio does all these moves, and it's like, damn, I like it because it's entertaining. And I, as someone who's like a host, I really love watching them on the mic and performing to a crowd.
Yeah, because they're good at engaging with the crowd, and there's a reason why people love them. You ever were into like let's say Love Island, those reality series, Jersey Shore?
Yeah.
You watch that shit?
Oh, I love them. Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah, I love. What's the one with the device? Oh man, what's it called? Oh my god, there's a device, and they can't have sex or they lose money. What's it called?
Too Hot to Handle.
That's my favorite. Yeah.
Is it Too Hot to Handle?
Yeah,
And
Too
then-
Hot to Handle. That's really good.
And then they had
Love Island.
Love Island, Australia,
Love Island, Brazil,
America.
Mexico. Yeah.
Honestly, I would only watch that with my buddies, because we would laugh at sometimes it's quite okay. What I think is the most cringe moment is when they get a text. Okay, and everyone's like, "I got a text," and they start dancing. I'm like, "Oh, it's a bit too much, man. You know, bit too artificial." You know what's fucked up? This is also biased opinion. What's fucked up is the Singles Inferno, which is the Asian version of this sort of dating reality show, and the contrast is just so huge. Like let's say if it's a Love Island, right? You're gonna see the guys being much more cheeky and flirty.
Yeah.
You know,
they're gonna have sex on camera.
Yeah. You know, of course they're not gonna show it, but then.
But the Korea version, they won't. Yeah.
Dude, I watched that shit and I thought, how do people enjoy this? But you can see the rankings on Netflix, you know, and Asian people, honestly, not everyone is this open, right? So they fucking love it. You know, people who are probably not that Western influenced, they love that shit. Yeah. Okay, let's what's up?
No, I'm thinking about Too Hot to Handle now. Like some of the funny moments. Yeah.
Bro, you know, Jersey Shore, right? That was the it's so stupid to say this, but the reason I started working out because I watched Jersey Shore and I thought like, oh wow,
I need that body.
Dude, these guys are getting chicks and they're partying, and that's what I've ever wanted. You know, so influenced by American Pie. Literally, I remember my cousin showed me a video. The American Pie series when I was 7.
Please don't tell me you were inspired by American Pie events.
I was.
Which character? Stifler?
Stifler's mom.
Oh,
which character? Jim. You know, you always want to be the main character.
Okay.
Stifler's just a dickhead. He's fucking cool though. Yeah. So I remember my cousin showed us the second American Pie, and I had another cousin who was about my age. We were watching it together.
Yeah.
And he went and told on us to his mom, you know, and then his mom was quite upset. You know, it was they were kind of a more religious side, and the mom would come and have a talk with my mom. Then my mom said to her like, boys will be boys, you know, and there's nothing much you can do about that shit.
American Pie, I love the reunion as well. That was such a good movie.
The reunion,
that was so funny.
Yeah. What do you think you would be doing if you weren't a content creator?
I would be a performing arts teacher, I think, because that's what
if you weren't performing.
Yeah, because that's what I studied. That's what I know. I love kids. So I think I would do very well as like a performing arts teacher.
Yeah. I don't doubt that. You know, you pursuing whatever you are passionate about,
and I would enjoy it as well. It would be a job I would enjoy. That's the main thing.
But there's such a conflicting opinion when you're talking to people in a lot of people in Malaysia or just Asian societies. You know.
Here's the thing, though. You work 70% of your life, right? So why would you want to do a job just because of the money? 70% of your life. You work 9 to 5 every day from the age of 23 to 60. That's your peak years. If you pick a job, you wake up in the morning and you dread going to work. That's not 60% of your life is going to be so boring, and you know.
And that's 70, 80, 90% of the people, unfortunately, right? There's this quote from Joe Rogan, which is most men live lives of quiet desperation, right? So what it means is you just dread your daily 9 to 5s or. But
I also feel like some people in Asian countries, they are influenced more by money. So, for example, owning a Ferrari is more important than being happy, because it's like, oh, I need to have this to show that I'm successful, to show I'm wealthy. But actually, in my opinion, success is not about how much money you have. It's about if you're happy with your life, if you've got a loving family, if you enjoy what you do, that's successful in my opinion.
And it's not only the opinion of yours, it's let's say you speak to billionaires, or they're going to tell you that, you know, at the end of the day, when they are at where they are, you always want more. And also when you're at their stage, it's not the money anymore. They're chasing power, you know.
True.
I always like to think of one of the main reasons why you think that Asian people are more money-minded, right, for lack of a better term, is because we are just a less privileged country. I think that's a big factor. Like, for example, when I was working in Melbourne, Australia, right, I worked at Zara. I finished at 10. Shop closes at 9. We close the shop by 10.
Yeah.
Boxing Day, right? During Boxing Day, it's just packed.
Crazy sales.
Big sale, biggest sale of the year. So by 10 o'clock, our shift is done. The shop floor is just flooded with clothes. Everyone still goes home. No one says anything about staying. Your managers, everyone's gonna go home. So you come to work the next day and then you just pick up where you left off.
You're saying why they're more money minded, right?
Yes, because first of all, the currency is much bigger. That's the biggest factor.
But China is one of the most successful countries right now. Like they're crazy. Like compared to Western world, they're taking over.
Yeah, but their work ethic has been that way for decades, a long time. You know, so I don't know. Of course I wouldn't know exact answer, but I feel like the reason why people are in the office here overtime, they're doing OTs until 10, 12 p.m. is because of the fact that your currency is smaller. So how is the companies gonna make up
like the money?
To
compete the other ones.
Once you like, if you have another business that they have their employees doing OT, you can't say that okay, I'm not gonna do the same thing for mine because you're gonna lose out like in competition.
I agree, but I disagree as well because I know a lot of rich people in Malaysia, and they're not happy with just one. Like they'll have a successful company, and it's like, okay, I want this business, I want this business, I want this. Like one's not enough sometimes. So I know some people like this, so that's why I would agree but disagree as well, because I feel like money is very like okay, like when someone is really rich, they'll want more. Like it's never enough. Like I've got some friends who have had successful companies, and then it's like, okay, yeah, I want to do this and this and this and this, and then it's when it gets a bit too much and they have no time for themselves, they go through depression because there's too many things happening. And
simple peoples like from small villages and all, they tend to be more stress free, live happier lives. And some people, like let's say in the opposite side of things, very powerful and rich and super hardworking, they could be envious of that as well.
You look at Singapore. Everyone always says, "Oh yeah, I want to move to Singapore and work in Singapore." I've got lots of Singaporean friends. Nothing against them. You see the people working in Singapore who are in their 70s, who are working at like the ticket stalls, like selling popcorn, because they need to work because the cost of living is so expensive. Whereas in Malaysia, you have the people on the roadsides selling the food. They look so happy, stress-free, like they don't have to pay big rent where they're staying because the houses aren't that expensive, and they live a very happy life. Right?
Okay, let's talk about Malaysian food.
Okay, sure.
Your whole life living in London, I don't think have you tried any Malaysian food over there? Okay, before you came here?
I tried satay.
Satay?
Do you consider satay Malaysian or not?
I guess so.
Or Indonesian?
Is it Indonesian? Who knows, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, everyone's gonna claim that it's theirs,
Yeah.
I
tried satay before, which I loved. I've tried things before that are similar in Malaysia. For example, like our Asian food is completely different to your Asian food. Like a Chinese takeaway, for example, is like crispy duck and pancakes, sweet and sour chicken, sweet and sour pork,
Kung-Pao chicken.
Yeah, like Panda Express from the US. Whereas Chinese food in Malaysia is, you got things like bak kut teh, and in the UK that would not get sold. They would be like, "Oh, that looks disgusting," or look at these noodles, they look horrible. But I've tried them and they're nice. Yeah, durian as well.
Do you like durian?
Nah.
Yeah. Okay. You've tried it, right?
I've tried it so many times, and everyone says, "Oh, try it again." I've tried it too many times. I'm not gonna like it. Yeah.
Oh, there's also, I would say, a significant amount of Malaysian people that don't like it. Okay, it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
Benjamin, my co-host, that guy, he doesn't like it as well. Yeah. Okay, let's do rapid fire of Malaysian hawker food.
Sure.
I'm sure you've tried a lot because I see your videos and
I've tried everything basically.
Yeah, it looks like it. Some of the shit that I haven't tried in a long time as well.
Okay.
Okay. Rate it 1 out of 10, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Curry mee.
4.
Wonton mee.
7.
Nasi lemak.
8.5.
Chili pan mee.
Without the chili, 10. With the chili, 7. I get the pan mee, but without the chili. I love pan mee. Yeah. Jojo's the best.
Jojo's. Super Kitchen. Have you tried that?
I will. Is it nice?
Okay, Super Kitchen. Yeah. I would say the other most popular one.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say it's more popular than Jojo's.
Okay.
Yeah. Char Kway Teow.
9.5.
9.5.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay,
So
you're a
good.
big fan.
Yeah.
Mamak mee goreng.
5.
Chendol.
3.
Rojak.
4. I don't like mixing fruit with sour stuff and salt. It's
You know that there's two types, right? One is the Chinese type. The other one is the Indian rojak.
but it's the same thing. It's mixing fruits with sauce.
No. There's no fruits in the Indian rojak. Yeah, they put some sort of they put egg, kueh.
Yeah, see, egg with fruit, it's not my cup of tea. No.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Hokkien mee.
Hokkien mee, 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Asam laksa.
5. You notice all the spicy things get lower ratings.
Yeah. Roti from a mamak. Any sort of roti.
Oh, 10. Yeah.
That shit's fucking gold,
It's
man.
good and it's cheap.
Yes, because I was in Melbourne for a long time, right? And I always thought like, wow, if they had mamak over here in Melbourne, I would be very
They
satisfied.
do have roti. They have they're
Pratas.
Papa Rich, right? You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
But it's double
It's
the price, right?
different. Triple,
Yeah, yeah,
quadruple. Not only that, it's different. You know, you go to a mamak here, you get all sorts of roti. You get your Maggi goreng, mee goreng, whatever it is.
Can I just shout out to the mumaks as well? You know
Sure.
what I love about the mumaks? I will go to restaurants, and I'm actually making a video about this, like a skit. I hate it when I go to a restaurant, an expensive restaurant or a cafe, and the waiter doesn't write down the order, and they stand with their hands behind their
Are you
back.
talking about mamak or?
No, so I'm talking about normal cafes, and they'll just be like, and they'll get the order wrong, and I'm just like, why can't you just write it down? It's so easy. But the mamak, you give them lots of stuff, and they always get it right. Like
They
their
always
brains
get
are
it
so
right,
good.
dude.
Yeah,
And okay, let's say you can order 10 different things, 10 people. They get it right.
so good.
And it's not magic or anything. They don't have a paper. They will look at you with that face like,
And sometimes I'll say, "Can you repeat my order?" Because I'm like, "There's no way he's gonna get it right." And then I'll go to a cafe, and a guy will get my order wrong, and there's only 2 dishes, and he's not written it down, and I get really annoyed because I'm like, "Oh, come on!" Like,
people don't really, they don't, like, let's say, people don't really write down orders here unless it's a Chinese restaurant. That's what I realized though.
I really hate that. Like, honestly, I don't see the harm in just bringing a pen and paper and just writing it down.
You hate that because they get your order wrong. But what if they don't?
Yeah, but why take the chance? That's my point. If you've come for food, you want good service. If I'm the manager at a restaurant, I would make all my staff write down, because so many times the waiter will come back after 10 minutes and like, "Oh, sorry,
What do you order?
what was this?" And it's like, that's 10 minutes I've waited, and it ruins the experience. And sometimes I'll say things like, "Okay, no cheese on the pasta," or maybe less spicy. Small things like that, because they haven't written it down, they won't remember. And then it comes with cheese, and I'm just like,
You know what's worse than that? If your Grab deliver food, he gets it wrong. Because what's going to happen then? I'm not going to fucking order another one.
Yeah,
Or they don't
yeah.
put some dips in there.
yeah.
You know, they forgot some sauce. You know, made it spicy when you don't want it to be
Yep.
spicy. That shit sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, what was your first impression of Malaysian English when you first got here? Yeah, Malaysian English.
I think Malaysians speak very good English. I was surprised because I was like, I didn't really know, because I knew it was a majority Muslim country. So I thought, okay, is the language going to be tough? But most people in the Klang Valley speak quite good English. And then as I lived
What about
here,
the accent?
accent, yeah, obviously things like la was weird, but now I say la. So it's like, yeah, you get used to it,
I have a really good buddy, right, back in Melbourne. So we were in college together. He was from Indonesia, and he had an American accent because he grew up in he studied in international school, so he had an American accent. Within the first week of hanging with him, right, he was saying things like, "You're such a fucker lah," and it didn't take long. When you're hanging out with all Malaysians, it just comes.
I say can. And I go back home and my mum's like, can? Like,
Yeah.
can of
Can-
beans?
can of-
can of Coke? And I'm like, no, can. Like, she's like, you want this? Yeah, can.
I like to think that people don't, Malaysians especially, we don't realize how, it's very harsh to say, but it's fucking retarded how we sound compared to people who speak proper English, which is, let's say, Americans or British people.
Okay, but
It's so horrible.
okay,
Everything.
but I would
Yeah.
rather that
Yeah.
than me. Okay, for
What
example,
do you mean? Like,
what I mean is, I think you guys are should be more acclaimed. Like, I should be clapping you guys more than us Brits. For example, okay, you're Chinese Malaysian, so you speak English,
Malay,
Malay, and
and
Mandarin.
that's it. No, Mandarin for me.
Okay, well, most Malaysian Chinese will speak Mandarin, English, and Malay. That's 3 languages.
Yeah.
Whereas saya boleh cakap bahasa Melayu sekarang,
Yeah,
tapi,
oh, that's not bad, bro. That's
before
good. Yeah.
I could only speak English. So I would rather have not so good English, but speak English and be able to speak Chinese and Malay,
Yeah.
rather than me speaking great English. I think Malaysians deserve a round of applause because Indians as well, they speak 3 languages.
But it's something that happened by, it wasn't by design, we just ended up in this place together, What is the second most commonly spoken language in?
French, and it really annoys
Is
me.
it
I don't.
French?
Yeah, French.
So, okay, so the other day I was talking to my buddy about this, and he told me that, he mentioned that, try and think of countries where they speak 2 or more languages, and the percentage of people that can speak those languages are in the double digits. So more than 10% at least. Can you think of countries?
What do you mean? What do you mean? Oh, you mean countries that can speak more than 2 languages?
Yes, and the percentage of people speaking it is in the double digits.
Singapore,
Yeah, so
Right.
Malaysia and Singapore.
Malaysia, Singapore. You probably say all the Southeast Asian countries, right?
I don't
Indonesia
know.
as well, probably.
I don't even know whether Indonesia would be in
I
double
think-
digits.
I think
you know?
Sweden. Maybe they speak Swedish and English.
Yeah.
Italy and France. It depends on where you go. Like, some of them can speak English. Germany.
But 3 languages, which
No.
is very rare.
So that's why Malaysia, I think, is good job, Malaysia. Like, that's really impressive. Like, my kids, I will make sure they learn Chinese. I think Chinese is such a powerful language right now. Do you know in the UK, if you can speak Chinese, you're guaranteed to get a job for at least £50,000 a year.
Oh, no fucking way, dude.
Even like at the airports, they need people that can speak Chinese and English. So it's so in demand.
Yo, did you so £50,000 a year?
Yeah.
So if, let's say, a Malaysian dude, okay, who can speak Chinese, he's gonna go over there. That is about, you're bringing
300,000 ringgit a year. Yeah.
200.
300k.
It's times 5, right now?
5.23. Yeah.
So yeah, almost 300k
Yeah.
a year. That's fucking insane, dude.
Yeah,
and
man.
just for
Translating.
yeah, and whatever
Yeah.
you learned was just up till high school level, and that's sufficient. You're well qualified,
Because look, there's so many Chinese businessmen that come to the UK and don't speak English. So there's so many jobs available now.
Yo, so you've tried Ramly burgers, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think?
Honestly, I
Yeah.
think they're okay.
Oh, really?
I don't think they're the best thing in the world. I'm a very honest person. I love Kway and stuff. Ramly burger. Burgers, I've never been a big burger fan. So for me,
Oh, okay,
a
okay.
burger has to be really big and juicy. Whereas the Ramly patty, it's not the best quality. So I wouldn't say...
Not at all, dude.
If
Not
I've
even close.
had some drinks, I'll have a Ramly burger. But I would prefer going to the Mamak and ordering like some chicken or something. I would rather that than a burger. Because I like the big burgers, Yeah.
I think it's very big. Like, okay, so I spent a long time in Melbourne, and I always say this, which if you tell a lot of people this, it doesn't make sense. I still think that the best burger that I've had is, fuck, this sounds so...
Ramly.
No, not Ramly. The spicy chicken McDeluxe in McDonald's over here.
Oh, really?
Have you tried that?
I've tried it.
But
yeah,
you're not
yeah.
that's the thing though. You're not a burger
I've
person.
tried it. It was okay. Yeah, but I think I prefer the American burgers, like Shake Shack and stuff. I like that. Like, I'm not one of these guys who's in Malaysia and he's just like, oh yes, everything about Malaysia's great. Oh, the food's amazing. Oh yes, durian. Yum. Like, I'm very honest. Like if I don't like something, I'll just
Sure, dude.
because I don't like. It's my opinion. I think it's really cheap and I think it's really good value. But I would rather eat like fried chicken, for example, from the mamak. That's my choice.
Oh yeah. Are you a rice person? Since you've been here for so long.
I like fried rice. I don't like white rice. White rice I find quite boring. Yeah. So if it's like a nasi goreng or if it's like a seafood fried rice, I love it. If it's just plain white rice from a white rice cooker.
I didn't realize that I couldn't like live without rice until I went for this field trip in somewhere in Australia, right? One of my university's field trip. And then we went on this trip and then food was provided. So they would give us fish and chips, burgers, chips every day. And then by the 5th day, then I realized like, oh my God, I need my rice. Yeah, it's different.
When we went to WrestleMania, our two cameramen, Chinese, Malaysian, by day 2, they were like, like I had enough of waffles and pancakes for breakfast. So they went to Chinatown in America on the 2nd day to get their rice. It's quite funny.
Okay. Also, my whole time being in Melbourne, Australia, there's really good food from all different kinds of
Great
cuisines,
Asian
right?
food as well, yeah.
Asian food, all kinds, right? I still end up eating Malaysian food 90% of the time.
Malaysia food is very underrated, honestly. And I feel like Malaysia should do a better job in promoting it to the world because people need to know more about it because it's so nice, you know?
Appreciate that comment from you. Obviously I agree and I've always thought that way, you know, but I can't trust my own biases. I was born here. Would you say that, let's say, chips is equivalent to rice in America? Is that the same for UK?
No, in the UK we spice it up. So we have things like boiled potatoes, jacket potatoes, fries, sweet potato fries. We all have potato salad. We all have Yorkshire pudding. Yeah, lots of different carbs. Yeah.
Did you drive back in UK?
I didn't drive. No.
You didn't drive back.
No.
Okay. Oh yeah, you don't drive around here as well.
No, I worked it out and I spoke to all my friends.
Yeah.
And you can say what you like, but I worked it out. Most of my friends, I spend less money than they do not driving than they do driving. And I have 1 hour of my day more to be productive on my phone. Whereas they're stuck in a jam 1 hour. They can't multitask. Well, they shouldn't be on their phones and driving, but some people do, I know. So I would prefer to have an extra hour in my day, not have the stress of jams. And also, if I go to an event or work, I'd rather get dropped right outside the exit than have to spend 20 minutes looking for parking in Bangsar or whatever.
Paying for parking.
Yeah.
Petrol as well. I have another friend, so someone who did the podcast a few episodes ago. So this dude is very calculative on his finances. He does finance management and stock trading tips on YouTube. He himself doesn't have a car and is exactly the same reason as you. You know, so because I know his type of attitude is very calculative and very smart with his money, right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't disagree at all.
Yeah.
Let's say dating Asian women as compared to white girls.
Mm-hmm.
How are they different in your opinion?
The thing is, I only had one non-Asian girlfriend before, so I can't really compare. I've had 4 girlfriends in Malaysia, and I only had one girlfriend when I was in the UK, and I was really young then, so it's really hard for me to compare.
Okay.
But there are some differences just from hearing stories from friends and stuff. Yeah. So
what about your experience? Like, what was the most significant?
My ex-girlfriend was when I was in the UK. Was when I was 17, and I was a completely different person then. I can't really compare to like now or like back, like when I was 24, 25. But I don't think there's much difference. I think it depends on how they've been brought up. For example, some girls are more materialistic, so they'll expect the guys to pay for everything, which I've experienced maybe more in Malaysia than the UK.
Oh, really?
For example, in Malaysia, there is this stigma, this stereotype. You could disagree, you could agree. I've heard it from a few people. I'm not saying everyone's like this. Some guys are uncomfortable if their girlfriend or their wife earns more than them. So I've heard this a lot. I've never had a problem with that, because if I was married to somebody and she earned more than me, I would be happy for her. But there is this stigma here. And I also feel like sometimes there's a bit more of like, okay, how do I say this nicely? You know what I mean? I feel like
definitely.
there's that, but I feel like it's not much different.
See, I wouldn't know, because I would assume that this is a similar case for other countries. But this is your opinion. You're someone who's spent a long time in UK.
I've got some friends that have even said to me, like, they've even said, I wouldn't want to date a girl who earns more than me.
Yeah,
I've heard them actually say that. Yeah,
it's very common actually. What is the reason? Maybe it's just a stereotype, something you're not used to.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people here as well who will get married and they'll marry a rich guy and they'll be happy to just stay at home all day.
A lot of people.
A lot. And the problem with that is, technically, that means they are owned by that guy. They're not working. So if anything happens, if the guy has an affair, the wife is screwed, because what can she do? Can she leave? No, because it's all the guys.
I think another thing is, like, let's say if you're a stay-at-home mom, right? Your role is to take care of the children, raise them well. But what happens when they're on their own? And then the husband will go into retirement, and then the wife will have to find I don't know.
And I've got nothing against stay at home mums, by the way.
It's just an opinion.
But if my daughter married a rich guy and she told me, oh, my husband said I don't have to work anymore, I would highly advise her to still have a career, because if anything happens and the guy's an asshole or the guy cheats, you can't leave, because everything is owned by the guy, right?
And this tracks back to what we were saying before. There's that term, older people are wiser. You can't say that anymore. It's a very different time that we're living in right now.
Oh, you can't say anything anymore now.
Yeah, definitely. Have you gotten in trouble for any of that before? And one thing I want to ask, right? Oh, sometimes. One thing I want to ask, because your content is so family friendly and very hits a wide range of audience, right? And I
you'd be surprised. I get a lot of negative comments.
That's the thing I wanted to ask. I can't imagine what type of hate comments or about what in particular that they'll be pissed off about.
Okay, so for example, because I'm not Malaysian, people would expect me to make content that's just like, oh wow, this Malaysian drink is the best. Oh, durian is amazing. Yay, I love Malaysia.
Oh, they don't like an honest opinion.
Sometimes, yeah. So, for example, if I will make fun of... I've lived in Malaysia 9 years.
Yeah.
So, half of my life, I've been in Malaysia. So, I've experienced things here. And, for example, if I feel like, there's a funny thing that Malaysians do and I make a joke about it, some people will say things like, well, if you don't like it, go back to the UK. Like, I get that quite a lot.
Wait. You're talking about comments. They wouldn't say that shit to your face.
Not to my face, no. It's always the accounts that are like following zero, like
Oh, those are spam accounts, dude. Like
no, I've had a lot of people.
Not spam accounts. I mean, what do you call it? Troll accounts made by people.
Yeah. So, for example, I work for Astro. I always make fun of football teams. I make fun of Manchester United, for example. I shouldn't really now because they're higher than Chelsea. But I've had people saying things like, oh, I'm going to kill you, bro. If I see you on the streets, I'm going to whack you, because I make a joke about Man United playing badly.
They ain't going to do shit, though, when they see you in the streets. I was a big Chelsea fan, man.
You was?
Yeah, during the... Lampard was my favorite player.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, this was Mourinho, after Mourinho era. Who has been your all-time favorite player?
All-time favourite player, John Terry, because he was like a loyal player at the club. He was like a captain, a leader.
I think he even did his youth career in Chelsea, right?
Yeah, he was Chelsea through and through.
Yeah.
I like Terry.
There was something that I was so... It didn't make sense, but I was so obsessed with Shevchenko. Oh, yeah. Remember Shevchenko came over and he sucked, right? Okay,
Chelsea have the striker curse. Torres as well. Fernando Torres.
Yeah.
He was amazing. and then came shit at Chelsea. Lukaku come to Chelsea, shit.
He came right after
AC Milan.
No, I mean Torres came right after Liverpool.
Liverpool, yeah.
Right, yeah. So he was hot then, and then came over
Yeah.
Chelsea, and I was so obsessed with Shevchenko, right? Like, obsessed as in, whenever he comes on, I'm just glued to the TV. And I want him so badly to score. I always fancy myself an underdog story. That's one reason why. And then I went over to Melbourne, and football games. God, it's already pretty late over here. So
Even
in Melbourne,
later,
in Melbourne, it would be 5 a.m. and I kind of lost interest because you stopped following your team. Back then. Let me ask you this: how often? I would assume it's a fuck ton. How often do you get recognized in Malaysia?
It depends. Okay, I think in Klang Valley area, it's less frequent. But if I go outside,
in Klang Valley, really?
Yeah, because I'm on TV, so I think people in Klang Valley don't really watch.
Yeah.
They watch Netflix more. They don't really watch the local shows. If I go to places like Sabah, or Kedah, Johor, I'll get recognised more.
I would assume it's everywhere.
Not really, but everyone's usually really nice. So it's I like it. I love meeting people, and if they tell me that one of my videos make them happy, it inspires me to keep making videos. So that's why I like doing it. Yeah.
I would almost assume that I don't think have you ever had an racist incident?
Racist. I've been called colonizer before. Yeah. So
was he pissed off, or is he saying it as a joke?
No. So during lockdown, I like to do
But this is in person, right?
This was on keyboard.
Okay.
But I know what he looks like, this guy. So I have a lot of pranks and a lot of social experiments for my content. So I did this one thing where I pranked Malaysia that I met Justin Bieber. That kind of went viral. I've done a few things like that. I've planned things out and no. And during lockdown, the Malaysia egg cooker, the yellow thing where you cook the eggs.
Malaysian egg cooker.
So it's like one of those things where you boil eggs.
Are you talking about just a pot, or it's specifically for eggs?
Put the eggs in, you boil the water, and there's no electricity involved, and you just wait. The water comes down the bottom, and it. I'll show you a picture.
Sure.
While I tell the story. So what I did was I tried it for the first time during lockdown, and I thought it was really cool. I was like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. So this one, this one.
Yeah, I know.
This one. So, I thought it was really cool, and I made a video about it, and I was like, this is the best thing ever. And I said, I'm going to take this on Dragon's Den. You know Dragon's Den?
Yeah.
It's like a...
Shark Tank. The British version.
Yeah. I'm going to take it on Dragon's Den, and I'm going to sell it to the world. Obviously, I'm not going to take it on Dragon's Den because it's not my product. I had a lot of people commenting, saying things like, you can't take it on Dragon's Den. It's not your product. Don't be a colonizer. So for me, I'm somebody that I don't get annoyed or triggered by comments like that. I'm like, time to make more videos. So I took it one step further. I forged an email from the BBC, photoshopped it, and I said, "Dear Mark, thank you for your submission to Dragon's Den. We are pleased to offer you a chance on the show next week. Can you make it?"
You fucking troll.
Put that as an Insta story, and I was like, guys, I got accepted. I'm going to the UK next week. I took a picture on a plane. It was locked down, so you couldn't fly. So obviously I couldn't fly.
It was a Photoshop.
It was a Photoshop as well. I'll try and find the picture. And basically,
what was the response, man?
If you were smart enough, you would have realised that it's a prank, because there's no way I can take this on a show, because it's a patented product, meaning I don't have the rights to sell it.
Yeah, it's a product that's already out there and people are selling it.
So these people who were saying really horrible things to me, like, "Oh, you're a colonizer, fuck off, go back to your country, this is mine." So I basically, took a picture here. I ordered a Grab to send me to the airport.
Wait, is this article written because...
Yeah, that was written about it.
Did they know that it was a prank, or they didn't?
They didn't know, no. Yeah.
Nice
the,
one.
the article's good because it's a social experiment. So I had people saying things like, "Oh, cancel this guy. You know, he's stealing our product. He's just like his ancestors. He's a colonizer." Like, da, 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 da. And the whole time, I've already started shooting the video, which is the reveal, which is me on Dragon's Den. I've edited the video, and I'm like, "Hey guys, this is the next best thing. It's called Mark's Eggsy Cooker." Like, just so stupid. And then I released the video, and then all these people went silent. Like, and like they were saying some really mean things. They were saying things like, "Oh yeah, you know, you're go fuck your mom," like all this shit. And the whole time I was just like laughing because I was like, "You guys think?" They were saying things like, "You're gonna get cancelled so badly when this airs. You wait, we're gonna come for you." And the whole time I'm thinking, "Oh my god, if you're this smart, you would have really looked into this and realized, number one, I can't fly because the borders are closed. Number two, I can't take a product on a show that's not mine."
How would they even accept you, right? How would Dragon Den accept you?
Exactly. So yeah, that was really funny.
But unfortunately, most people, if not all, who leave hate comments, they're not smart people.
Well, exactly. So that's why, like I said, I don't really get. If you're a social media influencer or a content creator, and you get triggered by comments, you're in the wrong industry. If you put stuff online, you should be open to this kind of stuff. If people want to call me an ass, if people don't like my content, cool, whatever.
Go to the next one.
I'm not gonna cry about it. Yeah.
Something people don't realize as well, right? Like when someone is, let's say, they're saying "fuck you, Mark, go back to London," right? Or "you're a piece of shit, you had no parents," and people don't realize that they're literally typing that comment, and what happens right after that is, they go to the next one, and they kind of forgot that they left that comment.
Yeah.
You know, so
I find it funny because the people that will say stuff, I'm still giving them an impression. Does that make sense? So
what do you mean?
They're still contributing to my views because they're on my post, commenting.
They're commenting.
It's like,
they're engaging.
It's engagement. So you're actually the ones who are, like, if you really hate my content that much, why are you commenting on it? Like, yeah.
Why do you keep going back to something that you hate?
But I will say it's 4%. Like 96% is positive.
I don't know. I find it hard to believe it's 4%. 4% is a lot.
No, TikTok. Some people really can't take a joke. TikTok. Oh my god, yeah. I've got this series with this guy called Arif.
Arif Young.
And oh my god, like some people actually think that he's a real person who is annoying me, and they'll say things. I'm not joking. I'm not making this up. They say things like, "Hey Mark, how comes if you don't like this guy, why do you keep hanging out with him?" Or this guy's annoying.
Have you seen the video, Shen?
Just leave him alone.
Stupid.
Yeah. But from those videos, fun fact, people are calling me Harry Potter now in the streets.
Yeah. I've seen the comments about
it.
Yeah. Wait, Harry Potter, isn't that an Irish accent? First of all,
Harry Potter, no, it's
British.
British accent. Yeah.
Or maybe the actor is Daniel Radcliffe.
Daniel Radcliffe, he's British.
British.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cancel him. He doesn't know who Harry Potter is. Shame on him.
You're Harry Potter. Yeah. But that's fucking hilarious, dude. Arif is fucking talented, dude.
Oh, he's really talented. Yeah.
Wait, I watched the video of him a long time. This was years ago, right? And he's speaking in a full-on, like, really local Malay accent, right? And so strong. But what is his real accent? I don't know. I'm asking you.
I'm not going to reveal because I think that's his. That's
the biggest.
That's part of his, like,
the gimmick,
social media vibe. So I don't want to reveal. I think that makes him more exciting as a person. No one knows because he does all these different accents.
Dude, no, you wouldn't be able to tell because it's he can do a British one A grade and he can do
Philippine everything. Yeah.
And the Malay one sounds like an A grade one as well.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't be able to tell.
He's very talented. Yeah.
Yeah, but for the most part, I don't think you would have any racist encounter in person with any Malaysians, right?
Not really. Sometimes at clubs, people might barge me in the shoulder or something. I don't know if it's a racist thing or maybe they're just I don't know.
No, I'll tell you what though. It's kind of like I had friends that would do that when I was younger, right? We would go to a party and they came to the party not to party. They came to start a fight with their buddies, right? And it's so... honestly, this shit happens in the UK as well, right?
Oh, it's worse in the UK and Australia. Difference is, though, in Australia and UK, people will settle things on the spot. Yeah. Whereas in Malaysia, this is why I wouldn't get into a fight here.
No, don't.
They wouldn't... If it is never man to man, they would always call their friends or some gangster will come. That's the problem. Whereas in the UK and Australia, maybe there'll be a drunken fight and that's it, settled.
It's very different, dude. Like over here, you would call your other friend to come and literally that person that you want to fight with or beat up is going to stand there and wait
and
for
also,
that guy to come.
If the person here who beats you up knows somebody or has connections, if they're in the wrong, even if you're the victim, you can get, which is so fucked up. So that's why if someone barges my shoulder, I'm just like, whatever. Like, if you think you're hard, if you think you're tough, whatever, enjoy your night. I don't want to ruin my night getting into a fight.
Just be extremely nice to them.
But I would say Aussies and Brits are worse in clubs. Malaysians in clubs and bars, I think, are really cool and chilled. It's just a few people that will do that. They'll call their friends or whatever. But in the UK and Australia, there's more idiots that get drunk and they just want to start fights.
They want to bang, dude.
Oh my God, they're so annoying.
But what about, let's say before maybe when you first got to Malaysia and you went partying, was there a time where you didn't know that, if someone wants to like start a fight with you, you shouldn't lie on that?
I've never been one to start fights anyway, so it would never come to that. But people did tell me,
like, don't bother.
Be careful because the wrong person could basically
First of all, it's never going to be a fair fight.
Yeah,
it's never going to be one-on-one.
Fun story, actually. When I first came to Malaysia, I was at a bar and I was just went to get a drink, and this girl came up to me, and she was like, she came over to me, right? And I was like, oh, hi, yeah, nice to meet you, just talking to her. This security guard came, and he said to me, sir, you need to leave. And I was like, why? And he was like, my friend there, he likes this girl, and he's not happy. And I was like, what do you mean? What? Is that?
It's so confusing for you,
his girlfriend? Right? And he was like, no, but he likes her and he doesn't like that she's talking to you. And I was like,
it's so confusing.
You know what I said? I was like, that's not my problem. Like, and then my friend heard and he was like, he spoke to him in Malay, and apparently this guy is like really,
he's a regular at that spot,
connected somehow. And then my friend was like, okay, Mark, let's go. And I was like, what? This is ridiculous. And then I learned, okay, yeah, this is how things are.
It's okay. Like, if you think about it logically, right? You like this girl and you ask a bouncer to go over there and first of all, that girl probably...
Oh, it wasn't a bouncer. It was his security.
Oh, he's a bodyguard.
Yeah.
I've got friends.
No idea who he was, but my friend just said, yeah, it's better we go. Yeah. Funny, right?
It's very confusing for someone like you're a foreigner because you're like, what the fuck? And like I'm saying, like, if you think about it rationally, right, it seems like a very beta thing to do, to get someone to go over there and tell this dude that, okay, you like this girl. Like, what type of impression are you gonna give the girl? The girl's gonna think, oh, this guy doesn't have.
It's like the gangsters that are very small and they'll check up, but then they'll get their friends to do the punching.
Yeah. I grew up in PJ, right?
Yeah.
My school was right in front of Wanatama, so you could say we're not rough boys. Okay, we're not even close to that. I've seen so many of these type of, what do you call that, fights?
Yeah. Not
fights, so-called fights. And the ones that I always couldn't understand is, let's say if if this guy has a girlfriend and the girlfriend is texting this other dude. Okay, I've always thought this way since I was in high school. If your girl is texting another dude and she's replying and all, and their logic is, oh, we need to find that dude and we're gonna beat him up.
The girl's the one that should be more in,
I think like you just beat up the girl.
You know, exactly.
I mean, not beat her up, but it's obviously this girl's fault.
Yeah, it's the girl's more in the wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, but the mentality over here it was like that.
Yeah. So yeah, rule of thumb. Just don't get into fights in clubs. It's just not worth it. Yeah.
What about let's say, have you ever? Let's just talk about. Have you ever been drunk to a point where you actually got into a fight?
No.
Do you watch UFC or MMA
Yes,
by
I
any
do.
chance?
Yeah,
Oh, you
yeah,
do?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. I've got drunk before, but I know my limits, and I don't get aggressive when I'm drunk.
I wouldn't. First of all, right, like especially in the age we live in right now, you can pick on a fucking nerdy looking, skinny, scrawny dude, right? But jujitsu is a thing. You know, he's gonna choke you out, and then you're gonna fall asleep. But still, you still see a lot of videos of this shit happening, right? People had no fucking clue, and then next thing you know, they're choked out. Yeah. Tell me what you wanted to say something about.
No. I was just saying I just don't like to get into fights in general. There's just no point. Yeah.
Maybe when you were.
It's not worth your night getting ruined. You know what I mean?
When you were in high school, younger, it's fun to tell these stories to your friends.
Yeah,
you got into some of that, but other than that, people outgrow that shit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys, that's it for today's episode. Hope you all enjoyed this episode. Leave a comment. I always try my best to reply all of you guys. If you watch till the end, leave a British flag emoji in the comments below. Okay? If you watch till the end and you enjoyed this episode a lot, leave a British flag emoji with a splash, water splash.
Of tea.
Yeah.
Splash of tea. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Leave a water droplet at the side of the flag. Okay, to show that you.
Or you can just like leave a tea bag or something like that. Yeah. And remember, guys, don't fight in clubs. It's not worth it.
Don't fight in clubs. Don't call people colonizers. Not very nice. Yeah. Okay. Hit the subscribe, like, share this shit with your friends, and it was great having Mark on. And
thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, I would love to have you on another time. And guys, Mark Odea, in case you don't already know, follow him on social media. He's everywhere. ALAMARK is his nickname. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and see you guys in the next episode. Bye. Oh, all right.
Nice, cool.
Missing my homies, I'm missing my oldies, my brothers, my cronies. We all went to corporate.